Sinatra Podcast, the only podcast featuring two swinging brothers talking about One Piece. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra. And we're the Brothers
Sinatra. That's right. We haven't changed at all, Tyler. We're just like, two brother giants,
Yeah.
Every now and then, the volcano will go and then we'll come out. We'll fight a little bit. Then we'll go back to our separate spots,
Yeah.
Hey, you stole my line. You know that I would be the red ogre, Brogy. I'm the Brogy of the group,
You're calling me a Dory?
Yeah, so you got to do the Dory laugh. I get to do the gappa, 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 gappa.
I don't want. I like the gabba gabba more.
I know, because you're halfway to gabagool. That's why I like it.
That's why I like it too.
Yeah, I don't even remember Dory's laugh, to be honest with you.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah.
It's in the anime way more, but I still forget it.
Yeah. Well, I figured it had to be something, but we're getting a little too into it already, so I just wanted to say, listen to us on Spotify, listen to us on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Doesn't matter.
Take a big bite out of it.
Yeah. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. If there's a button where you can, give it a thumbs up, you can give it a follow. Anywhere you can give us 5 stars. All right?
Just do a little click, do a 5-star.
Just do it. It's not that hard.
We're the tops at everything, so you should be subscribing. You should be rating us the best you can rate us. You should be commenting.
What's the name,
Only
Tyler?
Good things.
Tyler, what's the name of that log pose? Only points to one place.
An eternal pose, Jackie.
An eternal pose. Yeah, you can just go to veryentertaining.biz. That's kind of our eternal log pose for all of these various sites. See, I'm kind of tying it together with the One Piece
I like how you're
thing.
tying it together.
Yeah.
A lot of knots. You're tying a knot? Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I mean, there's all kinds of knots that they know. That's
Folks,
one thing, Tyler.
He doesn't know about the knots yet.
Oh, well, they haven't gone into the knots. I know that they are tying a lot of knots, but, I want them to do, like, little close-ups and say, hey, this is, a knot for this type of sailing. This is a knot for this mizzen, staff or whatever. All of that,
this is
all those nautical
for
knots.
This type of wind.
Yeah,
or something else.
When are we getting to the knots? Bring out the knot content, One Piece people.
Oh, it's coming. You just gotta look to the skies, Jackie.
You remember that Portlandia skit with Jeff Goldblum where he owned a knot store? And he's like tying all these really crazy knots, and then he just pulls it, falls apart. He's like, but it's not a knot. They should get Jeff Goldblum on the show.
We need Jeff Goldblum in the show.
Jeff Goldblum with a knot store, in Logetown or a similar. I know we're kind of on the other side of things, maybe a different town. It doesn't have to be Logetown, but a Logetown type setup. We got all these shops. I want Jeff Goldblum with a knot store. Bring it in, okay?
Or at least, teaching about knots in some sort of way. That'd be fun. I could see him. I don't think he's old enough for the character I'm thinking of, though.
Well, he's getting up there, Tyler. We got to cherish Jeff Goldblum.
You'd have to put a big beard on him. Big beard and a big hat.
Oh, he would wear
He's already
that big
played
beard.
a wizard, so he might fit. The character kind of looks like a wizard. But
It's true.
It doesn't matter. All the people who know what I'm talking about are going to know. But Jackie, we should keep going on with the podcast.
Yeah, we got Two Brothers, One Piece, as usual. Quick reminder about, us and our experience with One Piece. I know very little. I've only seen the live action stuff. People get very upset at me on the social media because I don't know about, various elements of the world government, okay? I don't know, the differences between what happened in the anime and this live action stuff because I've only seen the live action stuff, and that's on purpose, folks, okay? We're getting two perspectives. It's part of what we're doing. It's not, a bug. It's a feature, okay, of this podcast. So when you're commenting your little comments on our videos saying this guy doesn't know anything about anything, all right, that's true.
It's true, and you're right.
But there's a purpose
He
to
doesn't.
it.
That's why we're doing it, because I know a little something, and he knows not as much yet. But
Tyler's like at
wants to
60,
know.
70%, okay? I'm at like 5-10% of the live action. So what percent is that? 2? I don't know, 1? There's so many episodes of this thing. How can anybody keep up? Do any of you have lives?
I don't think they do, Jackie. Or jobs.
Well,
Okay, they might have jobs.
they
I'm
probably,
sorry, everybody.
some of them have
And
jobs,
they probably
especially
have
the ones that
lives.
were, watching back in the 90s. It's like you got to kind of matriculate through society and, achieve various elements in order to, sustain yourself and whatnot. But you kids out there, get a grip.
Get a grip. Figure it out.
And that brings
I don't
us
know
into
how.
our Sinatra Stats, Tyler. So we're not going to go blow by blow over all of the various elements of this, but we're talking about the live-action One Piece, episodes 4 and 5. That's the Little Garden arc, okay? So we're in the Little Garden for the majority of this here, set of episodes, except for the, 2 minutes that we spend on the Going Merry, in transit to, and in transit from the island, okay? This is season 2. They call it Into the Grand Line. I've never heard anybody say that. Everyone just says season 2. I don't know why they felt
Everyone
like
just says season
they had
2.
the name season 2 special. But,
Well, it does feel special.
oh, sure. It always feels special when you're hanging out with the Straw Hat crew. And we
two
have,
brothers.
we've gone, and 2 brothers, yeah. I mean, we'd fit right in, let's be honest. We'd be in the back tying those
We would
knots
be
and, eating the
Great
food.
additions to the Straw Hats.
Yeah, everybody's
They
saying
would
that.
like us. Well, Luffy would like us because we sing songs.
That's
he loves
true.
a good musician.
That's true.
that
And they
Luffy.
have yet to incorporate a musician into the crew as far as, this point that we're at in the series.
So
So
far,
we've
in the
got,
live action.
we don't really have any new kind of main people on the Straw Hat side. So I'm not going to go through the cast.
to.
If you've
Why would
listened
we?
to our past podcasts, we've talked a lot about these folks. But we're going to mention a couple of new. I think there's really 4 by my count that are brand new.
Fresh faces.
Yeah, and what I like about these couple of episodes is that, in the first one in Logetown, you got all of the people around town. You go into the shops, you have various shopkeepers. So even people that are not, the main cast, you just get a lot of people on the screen. And then last week we were talking about Whiskey Peak, and you got just the various townsfolk. You got the 100-man battle with Zoro. It's very few people that we're talking about in these couple episodes. So you really get to spend more time with these individuals, and every person has, a little something to do. There's not any kind of throwaways. So the main guy that, the new Baroque Works, people, I guess, that we get here are David Dastmalchian as Mr.
Oh,
3.
yeah.
And Sophia Ann Caruso as Miss Golden Week. So those are the new kind of baddies that we get this week.
And they're bad.
Oh,
They're so bad.
They're bad.
But so good. They're so good.
They're bad, and they've got
bad
kind of an
and so-
autistic leaning that I'm sure we'll get into. And then the
I
other
sure
2.
hope you said autistic.
I did, Tyler. It's just,
Okay.
Yeah. I know what you're saying because I just watched a full season of Love on the Spectrum. Great TV, okay?
Great
Season
TV.
4 just came out. Fantastic. But I'm saying autistic with an R.
Autistic, folks, with an R.
With an R. Autistic.
With an R.
All right? Because I'm an artist, all right?
Autists.
So, and then the other 2 that we have to mention are Brogy and Dory. And I believe these 2 gents were both just kind of local South African actors. We got, and I apologize if I'm murdering this name, but Werner Coetzer and then Brendan Murray. Okay, so those are the Dory and the Brogy.
There's no way you said Murray correctly, Jackie.
No, yeah,
No way.
Murray. Because it's got that A-Y. It's like, is it
The
Murray?
A-Y. Is it
You know?
Murray? No
Like
way.
Bill Murray,
Oh, yeah, Bill Murray.
Everyone knows Bill Murray. So I think that's it for the stats. Just those 4 people, in addition to our Straw Hat crew and the couple of Baroque Works people that have been kind of, chasing them. So we got
Yeah,
5
bopping
and
around.
Valentine in this thing, and we got kind of our regular crew. We don't have any Marines in this number, so there's no Helmeppo, no Kobe. We don't even see
No
Smoker.
Kobe.
Okay, they're just kind of
my
like
heart
lingering
breaks.
in our mind's eye, but they're not on the screen. Okay?
I need more Kobe.
Oh, you always need more Kobe. All right, let's get to the spoilers, Tyler, and we're going to start with your short little baby summary that,
It's not a
provides
baby summary.
no
It provides
context.
it provides as much context as everybody deserves. I think summaries should just be that summaries. We don't have to go blow by blow. It's just
It's like a blurb.
bullet
It's
point.
hardly
Yeah,
a
a
summary,
blurb. Yeah, it's
Mine
what I
is
would
more
have
of a
done.
synopsis, really.
Yeah,
Yours
yours
is like,
is synopsis. Mine is like a quick.
yours is like back in the day when there was like a 40 character limit on, certain posts
Yeah,
and whatnot.
it's like if I were to have a letterboxed account, this is kind of what I would do, but just with reviews. That's how I think of it. Anyway,
All right, go
with
ahead.
Princess Vivi in tow, the Straw Hats, after some foreshadowing from Miss All Sunday, arrive at Little Garden, an island of overgrown foliage, dinosaurs, friendly giants, familiar foes, and 2 sinister cameos.
A couple of things about that. You said Princess Vivi in tow. What if they actually like towed her behind, like she was
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
that'd be
tube or
fun.
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
or
why
a
not?
horse-sized duck.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous, Tyler. That would
Why
never
would they
happen
do it? They would
in the
never
One Piece
happen.
universe.
No.
Definitely didn't name it in this episode either.
No.
And then what else? Oh, Miss All Sunday. I've heard that name a lot, but for the very first time, I thought about like an ice cream sundae. Like, what if she could just provide? She's got these hands coming out of everywhere. What if a couple of the hands just popped up with different scoops of ice cream? She could make like a really nice banana split right in front of you.
She could. She could probably operate an entire like ice cream store or like shop.
That is the best way to cut
on
down
their
on
own.
labor. Imagine
Yeah.
she starts her own company. She has no employees. It's just her in there.
Doesn't need 'em.
Doesn't need them.
Yeah.
Think of her in the ice cream shop at Chipotle. I mean, she could run multiple stores at the same
Yeah.
time. I mean, this is really a
Well-
life hack for Miss All Sunday.
I think she needs to be able to see where her arms go.
Yeah. But the only problem, Tyler, is, she couldn't run a Chick-fil-A because they're not open on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So that's the
Oh,
one,
yeah.
it's like a kryptonite.
No
really.
Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry. All right, let's do my stuff. And it's going to be, about 20 times longer, but, we're going to
Yeah.
enjoy this time.
I don't.
Here we go. Big Trouble in Little Garden. That's the first episode we're going over. Femme Fatale, Miss All Sunday, warns the Straw Hats of their imminent death and offers an eternal log pose to a deserted island instead. Ooh, deserted all Sunday. I'm telling you, it's on the brain, Tyler. But Luffy
Oh, now I'm getting
crushes
hungry for
that
ice
log
cream.
pose. And the crew presses on to Little Garden, a prehistoric dino land, where the crew explores while Zoro and Sanji do some competitive big game hunting. Nami goes back to the ship to get a frightened Usopp, where they soon meet Brogy, a giant from Elbaf, who steals their ale before taking them to his cave for lunch. Soon, we find that he's a friendly and an inspiration for Usopp, who wants to learn to be brave. Meanwhile, after riding a giant sauropod, who reminds her of her giant duck, Luffy and Vivi meet another giant named Dory. We learn that Dory and Brogy are from the giant warrior pirate crew and have been dueling for 100 years over a past slight that neither remembers. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine arrive in just outstanding clothing, I have to say, and meet the wax-powered Mr. 3 at his white cottage. As the volcano erupts, Brogy and Dory commence their daily duel, cheered on by the Straw Hats, but Mr. Five puts explosive earwax in Brogy's drink, resulting in a massive disadvantage and eventual impalement on Dory's Terry sword. In the chaos post-duel, Vivi is captured by Mr. Five, and a mournful Dory is waxed by Mr. 3. Throughout the episode, Miss Golden Week, a creepy child woman, hypnotizes Zoro, Nami, and Luffy with magic paint. Wax on, wax off. That's the next episode. Mr. 3 builds an elaborate wax cake torture trap for Vivi, Nami, and Zoro, while Miss Golden Week keeps Luffy as her doll. A lonely Sanji looks for the crew and finds Three's wax house and takes a call from Mr. Zero, who asks if the Straw Hats are dead before sending the Unluckies, a vulture and an otter, I think, to confirm. Sanji kills them with light effort, signs off on the call as Mr. Prince, and gets another log pose pointing straight to Alabasta. Looking for help, Usopp finds Brogy still alive, but only able to give advice on how to be brave. With new courage, Usopp takes out Golden Week, frees Luffy, and soon after gets Valentine to accidentally free Vivi, Zoro, and Nami by cracking the wax by way of, his skull, really. With Usopp's help, a still stuck Zoro dispatches Mr. Five, while Nami and Vivi use teamwork to take down Miss Valentine. Meanwhile, Luffy and Mr. Three fight in the forest among wax statue doubles, eventually taking it to Brogy's cave, where Luffy uses his own wax against him and frees Dory thereafter. Dory and Brogy finally reunite and say goodbye to the Straw Hats, but not before blowing a massive hole through a giant goldfish so the crew can escape. Back at the Wax Cottage, Mr. Three kills Valentine to control the narrative, and as night falls on the Going Merry, so does Nami.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, she fell down. That's kind of the end
she
here.
Does fall.
So if that's all you see, and if you didn't know that there was any more, you'd think, wow, she was a great character. I'm sad that she's now deceased, I assume. So Nami,
if we
not
were
in a
to
good
stop
place at the end of this. Sure. I'm just saying, if the entire series ended here, or if One Piece just ended when Nami fell over, it's like, oh, man, kind of a downer,
Yeah.
Luckily, there's another 3 episodes after this, so, we'll see what happens there. But, Tyler, just before we get into the good, the bad, and the brothers, the 5 best, the 5 worst, and, going through some of the fights, what were your overall thoughts here on these 2 episodes?
Well, to be honest, Jackie, I don't think they're as strong as the last 3 episodes. However, I think they are good. I think these episodes suffer from sort of the same thing I said last week about Whiskey Peak, in that I think we should have spent more time. We talked about maybe extending the series per season to 10 episodes instead of 8. I think giving Whiskey Peak 2 and Little Garden 3, I think would have, because I think we get enough Drum Island. Not to spoil. I've already seen all the other. I think we get enough of Drum Island, and I think they could have done a similar pacing of Little Garden and Drum Island, which would have given us a little bit more of kind of what I wanted from these episodes. This is Usopp's arc in what people consider in the anime and the manga. It is this is where he sort of solidifies his thought process on how he's going to become a great warrior of the sea, who his inspiration is, what he wants to go to Elbaf, the place that they're from. He wants to meet these warriors. He wants to become like them. And I think only for the sake of because of how little time they had, I don't think Usopp got enough time. I think he should have had more representation, even though he did get a lot in these episodes. I think it should have been the same percentage plus another episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should have maintained the same amount of screen time, but we needed another episode. Mainly because I think all of the moments with Usopp and the Giants are really good. He's doing really good work. Jacob Gibson is really, I think he's theatrical.
I think right when he came in, and I've never seen Usopp in the anime, period.
Yeah.
What anime I've seen was very, maybe the first 3-4 episodes before he even comes in. But I can already tell that what he's doing captures, what that character is supposed to be.
Obviously, it's more grounded, but he's doing such a good job.
I agree.
And
I think
he needs more time.
It's funny because I feel like this is your anime perspective. I think that it is very clear that these are his episodes. And we'll talk a lot more about that.
I agree that it's clear that they're his episodes. I'm saying I think, because I said this last time, I think Nami and Usopp for these like this stretch of the season sort of take a back seat.
Oh,
And these
Nami
are his
still continues to take a back
yeah.
seat overall, but
But it's
yeah,
like these are his this is his spotlight, and he does stand in the spotlight, but it's like he's on the stage sharing center stage with the rest of the Straw Hats only because of time. And I think
yeah,
yeah, I just think adding another episode or adding more just scene work generally, content, would give him more of like a I'm the star of these episodes. This is me. This is where we're going. And this is how it fits into what we're doing next.
yeah. I enjoyed it overall. I maybe I was a little bit higher on it than you, but what I appreciated was the shift. We were in, Wild West Town last week, and this week we're in kind of lush tropical land. I guess the
Jungle.
one thing
Yeah.
I would say is that I wish there was a little bit more time for, and maybe this is kind of shared between us, a little bit more time just on Little Garden, a little bit more Little Garden world building. We saw dinosaurs, but we only saw two kinds of dinosaurs. Now I understand that, the CGI and what they had to do to create those, that's a limitation. You can't just have like a Jurassic Park sized, experience with, that many dinosaurs. But whenever they showed the flora and fauna bits of, the man-eating plant and all these various things, all of that was really
Oh, it was
effective. So
great. Yeah.
I just could have taken maybe that dialed up a little bit more, spend more time with the dinos, and of course, any time that we spend with the giants is time well spent, Tyler.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny that is how you sort of ended your, because my number 5 best parts is literally the setting and the foliage and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's crazy that you said
Yeah,
exactly
well,
what I
let's
was
get
thinking.
into it because that was something that I had in my kind of short list of notes, but it didn't make my numbers per se. So let's get into that. What else do you have to say about this setting? Just a really nice kind of tropical environment. Again, you get the early. Oh my gosh, you basically literally get the Jurassic Park reveal of the
Well,
Brontosaurus type dinosaurs.
it's I think it's funny because it mixes, in my mind, it mixed two sort of reaction things with like the giant foliage. It felt very like Willy Wonka chocolate room, people walking into the thing for the first time wide-eyed. Oh, what's going on? And then Jurassic Park, the
Yeah,
majesty of something so much larger than life, larger than yourself. There's a lot of really good details. This is like later on, but when Sanji's doing his secret agent stuff and he's looking through the files, they have pictures, but they also have artwork on each side, and it's in the style of the anime. And they do, again, I don't want to belabor this too much because it is my 5th thing on the good stuff, but the practical sets, the attention to detail these showrunners have had is every time it astounds me, and sort of why it sort of makes my list every
Yeah.
time. Another just mention, there are carvings that Dory made that when, they're standing, Luffy's talking to him and he's standing. He's like, "Why did you eat my rations?" There are like 3 carved statues next to him, and those are like deep cuts. They're not like, one of them is broggy or whatever, but like the other 2 statues are like not even, one of them is a silhouette of a character that's like before the face is revealed in the manga. It is an insane pull. I just think it's so interesting. And the other one I don't want to talk about at all, but
Sure.
it's again, all of these little things build
Yeah.
in so much. Maybe that's why I feel like we needed more time. I think that maybe I just should rewatch the anime, Jack.
But one thing that I know is different from the anime, and this came from one of the featurettes that they had on Netflix. They had, the original in the anime, Mr. Three's house, I think is just kind of a boring, like, square
Yeah.
house, right? So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
ornate kind of which makes sense
Like
because
it looks like a gingerbread.
it looks like a
house sort of to
gingerbread
me.
house, but it's got a lot of detail, and it's kind of that
Yeah.
Baroque style of
Yeah.
all of the different ornamentation and embellishments. Yeah, the cottage in general, just like great set decoration. Everything is mostly
Yeah.
white except for the picture hangings and the various elements like the phone and whatnot.
Yeah.
That worked really well. I also love the piranha plant in the beginning. Basically,
Yeah.
just looks like a Mario piranha plant. And Luffy immediately just sticks his head
Sticks
right
his
in
head
it.
in there.
It's like, what are you doing, my guy? Luffy had and I understand that this is a major part of his character where he's just always looking for food and doesn't really, have a danger monitor, no like danger finding bone within him. So he just, sticks his head in there. He's later on top of a tree, throwing coconuts down at Nami's head. And then there's one point where he's just walking through the rainforest with Vivi, and he's like, "Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this?"
Yeah. He's like drinking like from like dripping water off of a fern.
Yeah, it's just like this liquid dripping off of a plant. And he's like, "I'm gonna put that in my mouth." So some insane Luffy stuff. But yeah, anything else to say on the overall setting?
Yeah, gotta mention.
Can mention the cave as well.
The caves.
It's
yeah.
nice. You get some nice kind of like spatial contrast between the cave where Brogy is and then that more kind of open campground where Dory is.
Sandy beaches and stuff. And
yeah. You have the hills. There's a volcano. There's obviously when you get the Golden Week stuff, she's got her own little kind of tea set up over there.
The Golden Week stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your 5.
That's my 5.
All right. My number 5. We're going to Sexy Corner, Tyler.
Uh-oh.
Yep. We're going to
What
Sexy
could-
Corner. We got to go
what could
back
be there?
because, this is something that I've said on a pretty consistent basis, Tyler. Everyone in this show is hot.
They're
and
hot.
they want to let you know about it. Okay.
Oh, I know.
So there's 3 that I picked out. There's a lot more that you could go over. There was a little nip slip by a guy Usopp at one point.
Oh.
But
Good.
that didn't make my top moments here. So
Oh.
yeah, I know, but I feel like I had to mention it. All right, so the episode starts. We get all Sunday sitting cross-legged on top of the ship, looking down. It's like this could be the first fight, but it's really not a fight because she kind of just disarms and disables everybody, and it's like you got to listen to what she says. She's just incredibly confident. She's got a corset on, and she's got 2 hats at one point, Tyler. She's got her own kind of a cowgirl situation, but then she uses one of her flower arms, sprouts up, takes a guy Luffy's hat. You know that's like the only thing gets him mad. Puts
Yeah.
it on a hat. She's literally got a hat on a hat at some point. So
Uh-oh.
she's only
You're not
there
supposed
for
to do
like,
that.
Nope. She's there for like 60 seconds, but she makes herself known, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, got to go to my guy Mr. 5 and his pink shorts,
The
boots,
shorts.
and jacket
Yeah.
combo thing. I also think that this is the first time we see his bare chest where he's got yet another 5, just in case it wasn't clear who this guy is. He's got a
Yeah.
5 right on his chest, folks.
He likes that number.
What I also like about 5's get up is that he's got that very, anime style bandage. Like it's not like a
Yeah, it's
bandage
like-
that any real person would ever have on
Yeah.
their face, but I just really appreciated that
It
they
looks
had
like an emoji sticker that they like,
Yeah.
were like,
exactly,
which is sort of, it's perfect. I like
it's
it.
like a massive square held up by like 4 little tiny pieces of adhesive tape. And then you gotta call out Miss Valentine and her kind of swinging 60s citrus situation with at one point she's got, or I think the whole time she's got that double-breasted suit situation.
Yeah.
So we just got a lot of sex appeal coming out of these Baroque Works agents. It's like they're going to kill you, but they're going to kill you with fashion first.
Yeah, and they're going to look good doing it, and you're going to feel real embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my number 5 is just Sexy Corner. Everybody's hot. These were the hot people in this episode.
I kind
They're
of
all
like
villains.
that. Maybe every time you should bring in a sexy corner, Jackie.
Well, when it merits it, Tyler, I will. I don't know if, Drum Island, it's a little sketchier, But there is definitely one I'm thinking about right now that
Oh,
will
yeah.
definitely make the cut.
Chopper.
All right, Tyler.
Anyway.
Hey, I don't know who you're talking about.
Anyway, my number 4 is I'm going to read it sort of, except for the swear word, because we don't
Sounds
swear.
good.
But I'm going to read
Not when
exactly
Mama's
what I
around.
wrote. Sanji is a secret agent who is smooth, smart, and slick while not being a part of the A plot. You gotta be effing joking.
I do like one thing that I like about this episode, and I think it might have popped up last week as well, especially when Five and Valentine are around, they kind of get this very like 60s, 70s secret agent, like James Bond guitar type theme.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they did it when Sanji was looking through the dossiers and whatnot as well.
Like that. First of all, this scene is like how I became like a fan of Sanji. This is the first time, like, answering the phone for Mr. Zero, saying this is the restaurant, playing a game with him, I thought was like so funny. And there's something I'm going to talk about later that sort of diminishes what Sanji does, but it's the fight with the Unluckies, the fact that he's sort of off on his own the whole time, and everybody's like, it's what happens in the anime too, but he does his own little secret agent thing, and sort of, without knowing it, makes it so they can move on with their journey. And he's like the only reason that they're able to go. And I just think they represented it very well for Sanji, who is my favorite Straw Hat. Come at me in the comments. I don't care about Zoro. He's fine. He's designed to be cool. Sanji is a more nuanced character. I don't give a... come at me, okay? The point is, I think he did really well, and that fight scene with the Unluckies almost got cut. I don't know if you know that. It almost
really?
like was completely, because it was like the end of a really long shooting session, and they spent some time like doing a re-choreo of the fight, and they didn't think they were going to be able to do it. It almost got completely cut, and I'm glad they didn't, because honestly, the Unlucky's fight with Sanji is one of the funniest fights.
Yeah, I agree.
So far.
And what I love about it, and maybe this was because of exactly what you just said from a production standpoint, but I love the single camera angle element of it, where it just sits
like,
there and everything is
good
happening
choice.
in the single frame. So whether it was on purpose or just how it happened,
made it feel like a comic a little bit too, because you could pause it at any point and be like, "Oh, this is a frame. This is I don't know."
Yeah.
I just thought it was very well done.
Yeah. So
and I liked him looking through I liked his attitude. Taz Skylar's doing a really good job with the suave.
That's the most comments that I see of people that are maybe not as high on Sanji. Like, a lot of people say that live action Sanji is better than the anime Sanji. So it's something I see a lot,
I know
that's not your opinion, but
is translating the character the best it could be translated onto a live action at all.
I think it's funny to think about this episode from the pure Sanji perspective as well. He gets off the ship. Him and Zoro are doing the dinosaur hunt. Basically the dinosaur goes down and he immediately starts chopping it up, basically butchering it and taking meat back to the ship.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, almost everything else is happening. At some point, when he's done, caught in the meat around, he's like, "Hey, where is everybody?" He goes searching. He finds this weird white cottage. And then that's when this whole scene happens. And then by the time he gets reunited with the group, he's like, "Oh, there are giants?" He misses the whole thing.
Whole thing. Oh, man.
So, yeah,
it's so good. And he brings the eternal pose.
It's a sneaky good Sanji episode.
Yeah, and it's... I'm going to talk later about the eternal pose, but
sure.
We can move on. There's something that I have a qualm with, and it would have taken a single line to fix it, but we're not in the demerits yet.
All right, we'll get there.
Keep going.
My number 4 is just Miss Golden Week. So I love so much of how this happened. I love the slow roll reveal where at first you don't know what's happening, especially if you're like me and you just, haven't seen the anime. So I didn't know who this was, but you hear the little child laughter. You can sense that something is scampering around, so you have these quasi kind of horror elements. You see obviously Zoro gets tagged first. You see the paint, and he starts laughing, so you can kind of, guess at this point that this is somehow affecting. But then you get more information. She gets Nami with the green, which kind of makes her non-committal and aloof. And then eventually, when she's actually revealed toward the end of episode 4, you see her and you see that she painted Luffy with the blue stuff on his face. It kind of makes him sad. As it goes on and as she's kind of more developed in episode 5, you understand, she is kind of a partner with 3. They got this weird, demented father-daughter dynamic that, I would love for them to have unpacked a little bit more. It just seems bizarre. Like, she's kind of off doing her own thing. They, come together every now and then, but she just wants to take Luffy as her own, personal doll pet thing. Her demented tea party with her freaky dolls with the black eyes. And then her ending, I think that this was great casting.
Yeah.
They cast someone who is clearly a very small person. I think when I looked it up, she's 25, but she's playing like she's 12. But it's clearly this person's way too old to be acting, this way.
You know that she's the original Broadway Lydia from Beetlejuice?
I think I did read that a while back. Yeah, so
that iconic recording of this. I think the song's called Dead Mom, where it's it sounds like a teenager's belting.
So she's
more
she's very entrenched in that kind of dark, weird type character.
She does
so
such
that
a good
that
job.
makes a lot of sense. And at the end when she gets all of the paint on her face because Usopp kind of lucks into launching it square at her face. I love as she's kind of cycling through the emotions. She did a good job.
She does.
And
Yeah,
it makes
she's
me
really
wonder, what's going to happen. I'm assuming she's not gone because, in my mind, they need to tie a bow on that. Is she just on that beach forever, freaking out? So I'd love to see Golden Week come back at some point.
Well, I don't really remember about Golden Week coming back, but I do have to tell you, 3 stays with us for a while.
This is
He's
kind of one
around.
of those casting spoiler type things where David Dastmalchian, I believe is how you say it. I don't know, but basically this is the most prominent person that I've seen in other stuff, probably since.
he's in the DCU. He's whatever.
He's in a lot.
Man,
I mean, even if you just do a cursory Wikipedia of the various side characters, he's by far got the most just stuff in there.
There's an incredible movie.
Murderbot. He's in
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. I saw that a couple months ago.
Insane movie. Great.
But just
he's really good in that too.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of range. He can play these crazy characters like 3, but he can also a lot of times you see him as actually the opposite, where he's very, very toned
reserved.
down. Yeah. And in the show Murderbot that I saw him in, he plays an android man where he's robotic.
Cool.
So
I'll
very
have to check that out.
Different roles, just a phenomenal character actor. But anyway, did you do your 4?
Yeah, that was Sanchi's A Secret Agent who's smooth and smart and slick.
My 3 was Mr. 3, so we might as well just keep talking about Mr. 3.
Of course.
I wrote down here that everybody knows a Mr. 3 in the art world.
Can I anything? My number 1 is anything with Mr. 3 and Golden Week.
So that's your number 1. So if you want, we can just wait on that, and you can expound when we get there.
We could just talk about it now, and we can do your 1 at 1.
Okay. So everyone knows a Mr. 3 in the art world. You can see this guy just you can see this guy literally just copied and pasted onto a big city art gallery.
It's
And
like if the worst person you ever met from New York and the worst person you ever met from LA had a kid and they were like, you can be anything you want.
and, and he never, stepped into the
And
sun.
and he never left his house, and he also never really worked on his art and just thought he was good. That's who this guy is.
Yeah, and what I love about 3 is that he's extremely formidable. You see right away that he's very dangerous, and you get a feel for, this wax is, almost impossible to break.
Yeah.
But
Overpowered, almost.
yeah, but he's autistic to a fault, so he really self-sabotages throughout. He's got this Dr. Evil type that, where it's like he sets up these elaborate traps.
Yeah.
And he always provides either a ticking clock long enough for them to figure it out,
Yeah.
or it's got like a fatal flaw where, it's like almost in the back of his mind there's a percentage of him that wants there to be a chance that it doesn't work.
Yeah, I might color it as like because he's so sadistic, he's like there needs to be a way out, or there needs to be so they have hope so I can dash it away.
That's
like,
right up his alley too, because he's all
it is
about
funny.
this emotion. Yeah. It's like more for him about seeing the anguish and all of that. Yeah.
They need to be afraid and
he says at one point, like, everybody gets so caught up in the work that they forget about the Baroque.
Oh, it's such a good line, and it's what I wanted to hear, because the whole time I'm thinking, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Spoiler alert, both Jackie and I went to music school, so like we've heard a lot of these terrible music jokes, and to hear one that I'd never heard before, I was like, oh yeah, that feels good.
And I love as well how Five and Valentine the whole time are like, why don't we just like go kill these guys?
Kill
like
them. We could just kill
they're
them.
basically being the Scott Evil of like, I have a gun in my room right now.
Right now.
He's like, you just don't get it. It's like, no.
Meanwhile, that's just a Lorne Michaels impression.
But yeah, so I mean the cake, the big cake with the candles on top that's gonna rain down the wax. It's like, come on, my guy.
Yeah.
And whereas on the other hand, sometimes he just coats people in wax. That seems like a more direct and effective way to do it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about some of the science at play in this episode, and the wax is part of it, but I don't want to go there right now.
It's as hard as steel.
It's as hard as steel. Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, he
that
does
can
say
shatter.
that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like, yeah. Let's not go into it right
It's
now.
one of those things where it's like only a diamond can break a diamond, kind of like it's whatever.
A diamond in Usopp's head.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go
my
to
number
two.
3 is
your
my
number
number
three.
3.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm
it's not going to
sorry.
be that long. It's not going to be that long because it's mainly talking about sort of it's either a camera trick, a CGI, the Giants in general.
Yep.
Could have really fumbled the bag with the Giants.
Yeah, I agree.
And
The camera work around the Giants is a note that I took as well.
Yeah,
it's got to be some sort of it's not a fisheye lens, but it's like one of those lenses that really focuses the center of the frame, and then also obviously the perspective of looking up, and obviously
It's
the props
really well done.
And the forced perspective of it as well.
And whatever prosthetics that these men were wearing, the pores and like
the nose on
hair,
Broggy
the
is
nuts,
nuts.
There's so much going on with the Giants, with their costuming, the prosthetics. They probably are wearing something to like make them a little bit thicker, and to do all of those things, and then have the camera work, CGI, whatever they're doing behind the scenes to make it look normal next to a bunch of people who they're scaling down, and I think maybe there's one time where I feel like it's like, not the best, but they never feel out of place. It doesn't feel like No, I don't believe that they look like giant people. It
Yeah.
doesn't look weird. They could have easily missed the mark, and they could have gone full CGI. They could have gone, full camera tricks. They could have done. They ended up being closer to the Lord of the Rings than to
Yeah.
I don't know, modern Marvel slop
Yeah.
AI stuff. And I prefer. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but Gimli the dwarf was like 6 foot tall, and
It's funny
he's a
that you say
it-
Gimli because Brogy just had
Yeah.
the Gimli vibes.
Yeah, and it's
You know.
but like in the same way, it's like Gimli never seemed out of place in those movies. That's why they won so many Oscars. It's like it's cohesive. They did a really
Yeah.
good job. The Hobbits, in the same way, I mean, I don't want to say it's on the same caliber because Lord of the Rings, I know is and this is a Netflix show. You can't expect the production of something like that, but you got as close as you could get to like movie quality Oscar winning like effects with a giant. I mean, they could have been bad, guys, and it was not bad. They
Yeah.
were really good, and the actors did really well too.
I agree, and
The one thing I do want to say is I think one of them had some voice modulation going on, and that bothered me more than anything that like the CGI or what could have done. It's like they should have just kept his voice regular.
yeah. I
Yeah,
see
but the Giants, I loved them. Every moment they were on screen, I was like, good. Great job.
All right, so that's your 3.
That's my 3.
Let's go
Mr.
to
3.
number 2, and why don't you? Well, I'll do
Yeah,
my
I
number
get-
2 because
Okay.
we're all out because we already kind of did your 1. See, so we
Yeah.
gotta.
Oh, yeah.
Get
yeah,
it
we're
back.
going to flip it back.
So
into
my
the-
number 2 is Sanji versus Zoro. I think this is the most Sanji versus Zoro episode that we've had. There's been a little bit of comment here, comment there in the past, but this is the first time that they really get into it. And also, it parallels what's going on with the Giants, so it's kind of thematic the way that it's. So Sanji versus Zoro is kind of like a secret little parallel with this other situation that's going on. So obviously it starts with this whole dinosaur competition. They don't know that they're hunting dinosaurs yet. They just kind of set out to hunt game. They're criticizing each other's hunting. They're like, you don't know where you're going. You're lost. You don't know where you're going. And then all
Hunting
of a
takes
sudden,
patience.
yeah. And they really
Did
can't
you know
help
cooking
but
and baking are
nag each
two
other.
distinct?
Yeah, that's one of the
Great
great
line.
lines. Yeah, and they can't help but nag each other, especially Sanji when he's on his little secret agent mission. When he's on the phone with Mr. Zero, he's like, "Yeah, Zero's like, this is quick for you. You because he asked if they killed the Straw Hats, and he's like, yeah, I did it. He's like, oh, you usually take a lot more time. And he's like, yeah, well, that green-haired guy was really giving,
Yeah.
he was really annoying me. So
Yeah, so
that's
I
why
had to get it done quick.
I had to get it done quick. And he has these throwaways. Sanji, Zoro has similar throwaways, but I think Sanji had some funny ones in the episode. And then obviously the big crux of this is when the T-Rex comes out, and it's not a very long thing. I have a feeling this was, again, a kind of a CGI budget situation. The T-Rex kind of pops out, it cuts to another scene, and then basically when we come back, you just basically have Sanji kicking the T-Rex in the head. It gets a little stunned, and then Zoro, slices him down the belly. He goes down, and then they're arguing about who killed the
killed
dinosaur, which I think is hilarious. That I mean, again, this might divide opinion, but it's like, how could it be Sanji that killed the dinosaur?
Oh,
He
Jackie.
kicked him in the head, and Zoro sliced him with a sword. I mean,
Here's the deal.
It's probably
He
a
wouldn't have died-
combination.
Well, he wouldn't have died
It
immediately.
was like the
from...
setup. It's like when
Yeah,
it's
but
like you need.
I'm glad you really enjoyed it, But Jackie, I gotta tell you, that specific part is one of my demerits. I gotta tell, and I'll tell you why later. We'll get to
Well,
it.
that specific part isn't, the reason why.
I
I'm
get
just
it.
saying
It's
the
the
overall Sanji
overall,
Zoro,
yeah.
and then they
The-
kind of tie it together at the end. So, again, I think
agree
that,
with the sentiment, Jackie, but I do have a problem
I
with
think
the
that
Dino fight.
sure. I mean, yeah, why not?
It's more specific than like, oh, it's not a kick or the cut. It's like something that it's just different than the anime
Yeah.
again. But
All right. Well, let's go to
Yeah.
your number 2.
my number 2, Jacob Gibson. Boy, you're doing such a good job, and like specifically the work with Brogy. There's the I understand you're scared like
Yeah.
lines, and he's what a you build up so well to it, and they really put that scene away. They really
Yeah.
it's I think the most impactful scene for Usopp so far, and it really brings home what what his ideals are and what they will be going forward, and how he realizes that, because it's true. The thing that this giant that Brogy says is so true. It's like being afraid isn't the problem. To be brave, you must be afraid first, because it isn't brave to just go up and fight someone if you're not afraid. The only thing that makes you brave is to overcome a fear of your own to then fight. And it's just, they put it better than I did. But this is this is the reason why I think we deserved another
Yeah.
episode of this. It's like this interaction is what I needed a little bit more of. I needed Usopp and Giants talking and
Yeah.
him being inspired. I wanted like 10 more minutes of that. And not to say it wasn't great, it's my number 2 best part. But that's why it's number 2, because I need a little bit more. I need more.
Yeah, so what Brogy says to Usopp, and this is when, so before this, we actually, for me, a non-anime watcher, I think that Brogy's actually dead, because he gets a sword, through his abdomen. And also he had explosive earwax, inside of him, so you don't know what's going on in there. Usopp gets drawn back to Brogy. They have, this little conversation, and what Brogy says is, true bravery is not the absence of fear, but going into battle in spite of it. And then Usopp's like, but I'll die. And he says back, an honorable death trying to save your friends.
So good.
Yeah, there's a little bit before that too, but this has to be of the episodes that we've done so far, 1 through 5, this has got to be the most teary moment that they've had. This is
for sure.
I think these couple episodes, there are a couple of moments. Probably the only thing that you could compare it to is some of the Laboon stuff, maybe. But yeah, this one, especially the first time around, a lot of this stuff with Brogy talking to Usopp really, really hit me. And that's also my 1, by the way. So
would you look at that?
What I have
Sorry.
is Brogy, Dory, and Usopp, but in order of magnitude, mostly Usopp, Brogy, and then Dory's there too. I like that Dory's a contrast, because I don't think it would be good if you had 2 Brogys in the way. He's just much more boisterous, and Dory is maybe a touch more reserved in the way that he's presented. We already went over the camera work. I just wrote that this is the most fun that I had in these episodes when I was hanging out with the Giants, and especially when Usopp was involved with the Giants. I don't think we've talked about Usopp when he first gets taken by Brogy. Him and Nami get taken to his cave. They think that he's going to eat them, right? Classic kind of trope. And basically, one of the things that Nami asks Usopp to do is distract him with one of Usopp's, famous stories. So Usopp plays up like he's this brave warrior that he tells a story about some mole monster that he defeated, and he calls himself the Lord of Destruction. And I love how Broggy just like immediately takes him at at
Face
his
value,
word.
completely serious.
Yeah. And I also love the couple of food moments with the Giants. So Broggy has that giant spoonful of stew that he just plops down right in front of him. Another food moment that has nothing to do with the Giants, but I just want to mention it while I'm thinking about it, is when they all set off to go out on the island, Sanji gives everybody like a little box lunch, and it looks like it's got like rice and meat or something in there. It looked really good. And then in Dory's camp, he's got that giant chunk of fish that kind of draws Luffy to it. And then, of course, Luffy shares his beef bourguignon, and and Luffy's like, I didn't say eat the whole thing. It's like, Luffy, he's massive. Like, what? How is he? How is he going to eat just a part of it?
Very small, but very delicious.
Yeah, and I just wrote as well that Usopp finally gets a real arc and does his best work so far. So this is an Usopp stretch of episodes. He gets busy a little bit. He takes down Golden Week, even though it was kind of accidental. One thing he does, though, in that Golden Week situation, and I don't think I have this in my fights because it's not really a fight, but he does a spin move. Like, he's in front of Golden Week, and he does, like, an NFL spin move perfectly
to get around there.
And then he, again, accidentally launches the paint as he's kind of running toward Luffy to drag him out of the sea. So he does that, and then of course you've got the whole situation that I'm sure we're going to talk about at the the wax cake battle. That's kind of his most impactful action as part of the team from a fight perspective. Because prior to this, it's basically just sometimes like he did the whole thing to take out Alvida with the pepper earlier this season, but before that it was really just getting chased by the fish guy and. Getting a little bit of hot sauce, going with that guy. So
Tabasco star.
All right. So that was nothing but the best. Let's get to our demerits now. So number 5, Tyler. Number 5.
So number 5, Nami gets sick at the end of the episode. Later we find out why. My question is, how come you have Luffy eating all the foliage, licking all this stuff? I'm pretty sure Usopp gets bitten by a bug at some point, and he goes like,
Yep.
Why did we not have a single interaction with something that would lead to Nami get... I know it's like a
That's
small
a really good
thing,
point, Tyler.
But I'm like, I was watching this, and I watched it back last night, and I'm like,
there's not like a moment. There's not
a moment
where there's something unique that happens to Nami.
And the other thing is, we find out later it is a bug. Like, it's a bug bite that does it to her. So, why have Usopp do when you could have Nami do and that's literally all you have to do. That's, like, I feel like there's a couple of my demerits that are going to be like that, where it's like, you could have... It's like it might have been an oversight, or maybe they cut it in editing or something.
Yeah, it could be.
It's like, for as much as I give credit for all the details, I'm like, this one is...
Yeah. You could have even had it where when she's all non-committal, when she's got the green paint, the bug could have like just flown on her and she'd been like, I don't care.
Right. But the other thing is, it's like, I guess they don't show her getting bitten in the manga, the anime either, but it's like, it seems like a really easy win.
Yeah, if you're adding because they're adding little bits and pieces anyway. Like we talked about Three's house, it's fine to add little details as part of the storytelling, especially since it's so condensed compared to the anime. And I agree. This is a question that I had the first time that I ran through the season, and I think we'll probably talk about this more in the next podcast, but I was wondering as I was watching the rest of the season, like, was there a moment that I missed? And then, there's not really.
Yep.
So that's the number 5. All right, that's the demerit. My number 5 is the the special Tabasco star.
Oh,
Tabasco's a brand, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing with this?
That's what it's been called. It's always been called that.
It's like you have some kind of a slippery, a slippery move, and you call it like the special Crisco move. Like these are brands. It's
Or you
like
have
Kleenex and Xerox. Tyler.
I was gonna
Like,
say, yeah, if you have a
could've just
facial tissue move and you call it Kleenex.
you could have called it like special pepper sauce star, special hot star, special fire star. I mean, Tabasco. It's just one of those moments. And to be fair, this show has had a lot of these little moments where, this one was the Tabasco star. We had Crocus talking about his astrology sign and his blood type.
Yeah.
We have Luffy in this episode when he's talking to Vivi on top of the dinosaur. She's talking about, in my kingdom, the chef will make you whatever you want, whenever. And he's like, so I can have an ice cream sundae at 3 a.m.? And I'm thinking, like, so they got the same, like, time? Like, this is a world that's separate and distinct from Earth, but they have, like, the same way that they refer to time and, like, it, so it just opens up so many questions for me every time they just bring in something from our world, but they're creating this other distinct world,
It's hard, Jackie. It is hard to parse it all out.
You just like every time it happens, I just want to know, like, okay, so Tabasco is a thing. Is there like a Tabasco company, or do they just call hot sauce Tabasco here, and it's not a brand,
I wonder if that's in one of the SBSs. I would be really interested to see if Oda has answered that question already. Why Tabasco? And he's like, it's my favorite hot sauce.
Yeah, and like it's probably a stupid answer that has, it's just probably something that a decision was made, and like it is what it is. I get that, but it just every time that happens, it kind of jumps out to me. But it's my number 5 demerit.
Number
All
5.
Right. Number 4 demerit for you.
Okay, Jackie, we're coming back to the Zoro-Sanji duel.
All right.
Now, it's another nitpick. It's in the anime. This is how it kind of goes. They both kill their own dinosaur instead of fighting the same
so
one.
Even more of a parallel than to the Dory and Brogy situation.
And this is why it's further down on my list, because it could be like, it could have been, CGI, whatever, cost prohibitive, fine.
Yeah, but like, don't you think that if they modeled a T-Rex, that they could have just modeled another T-Rex? I mean, I don't know. I'm not in charge of the budget.
It was a different dinosaur. I think it was like a Stegosaurus. But like the point is they like literally measure them up next to one another. And they're like, which one's longer? Which one's bigger? And it's like they talk about, this one's heavier. But it's like it parallels exactly what Dory and Brogy do, rather than just like sort of like offhandedly is mentioning it, and you're like, that's fun. It's sort of it is in the anime. It's a direct parallel, and I feel like, sorry costs, but give me 2 dinosaurs. I
mean, that's just got to be it. And also, I wonder if there was a calculus of like it had to be. Even if it was 2, I wonder if they would have switched it to like 2 meat-eating dinosaurs. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but my guess is that it is purely production and
I'm sure.
Just
but I like
practical.
The exact parallel rather than like I just think it's more impactful that way. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. I think anyone who watches this, especially watches it a couple of times, will clearly see the parallel that they're trying to draw. And at the end of the day, it's like, Sanji and Zoro aren't like dueling each other for 30 years or whatever. So they can only take the parallel so far. Okay, my number 4 is just a few nitpicks about Brogy and his whole introduction. So they're trying to do, and this is almost similar to what happened at Whiskey Peak when you meet Igarum and the show is trying to tell you that this guy is bad and that there's something going on at Whiskey Peak. So there's just like that little extra percentage that's dialed up that almost doesn't make sense in the way that they're talking to each other. So Broggy introduces himself. We think, oh, this is a menacing giant. But like his introduction, he asks if they have any ale, doesn't wait for a response, takes a barrel off of their ship, and I guess knows that it's ale without...
Well, Nami points at it.
Okay, so I might have missed the point.
She points at
he
the
understands
barrel.
that it's ale. He takes it, just pops it open, drinks it, and then crushes it and allows the debris to just fall on them. I think that's kind of nuts. He has to understand, and he has to have encountered like smaller people. It's like, what if one of those? We saw what happened with Igaram. Speaking of him, with just a wooden shard, and like that being a fairly terrible thing to have in your gut. So yeah, I just thought that was a little dangerous. And then the whole "I'm gonna have you for lunch" trope, I don't mind it, but it's a classic. But it's it's like one of those things that it's just it's been used many, many times, and like every time that happens, it's like you thought
oh, because I'm big and scary, you thought that I meant that. Oh, why would you? Oh, I guess I did say it like that.
Have you for lunch? Now I hear it. Again, it's not like. It's not anything that bothered me too much, but it's like, all right, let's get this pushing. That was my number 4. Just those couple of things. I love spending time with Broggy, but I thought that was nuts, especially the ale thing with the barrel and
just
the
silly.
way he handled it. Yeah, especially since they just seem to be so careful. Otherwise, what are you doing, my guy? Number 3 for you, Tyler.
My number 3, Jackie, is another nitpick, but this is like. It's as simple as the Nami getting the bug thing. They don't mention this. And when Sanji comes up with the eternal pose to Alabasta, it's like, okay, he can get us off the... They never mention that the regular log pose is going to take 1 year to find another magnetic, island. You have to...
okay.
Because... Crocus, remember, told everybody, it's like the log pose, you have to wait on the island, and then it takes a little bit of time, and then it'll show you one of the possible islands you could go to, and then you have to go to the next one. It takes a different amount of time on each island, and Little Garden is a year, so they, find that out, and they start freaking out, and they're like, how are we going to get off this island? And then Sanji comes up, and he's like, I haven't been here the whole time. And he just has the way for them to get off. And that, again...
Yeah, they didn't have that tension
Sanji
at all.
Fan. Yeah, it's like Sanji fan. That's what solidified in my brain that I'm like, oh, he can work on his own and do, ultimately get them to the next island on accident on his own just because he has his wits about him and he's, kind of smart. And I do think he's modeled after, the sort of secret agent He's the one that wears the suit. The one who smokes the cigarettes. He's that guy, and you could have. It's one line. You could have added one line, and you could have. But
I do wonder if they thought maybe they were getting too far into the log pose stuff because it starts with a log pose where Luffy, takes the eternal pose and crushes it in his hand. I don't know what they were thinking, but I think that might have added a nice layer, an extra dimension to what was going on because really that tension didn't exist at all and everyone was just kind of exploring and having fun until Baroque Works came in.
Yeah, and the other thing, it's it reminds me a lot of... It's another very popular property. Harry Potter, there's this whole section... I was a very big Harry Potter book fan when they were coming out, folks, and there's a whole part of it about wand law and how you gain ownership over a wand, post wand choosing the wizard, Harry. There's stuff that's
I bet the HBO show is going to be full of wand law.
Dude, this is the thing. I hope it is because that is it's the reason that Harry wins at the end. It's the reason that he's able to use Expelliarmus versus the unforgivable Avada Kedavra. And when he's fighting Voldemort, it is the only reason that he survives, like, at the very end. And it frustrates me to no end that, like, the movie's just like, well, kind of just lucked out. And it's the same thing with this. It's like, you didn't give us any of the information for, like, Sanji handing this off to be a payoff at all. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know why, but it doesn't matter that he has the eternal pose at all. They could have just slept over the night and been like, well, we're off to the next island, because you never made it clear that the log pose isn't going to do anything. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I still love Sanji, so.
Well, sure. So that's your number 3 is
That's 3.
needed
Tell
another
me about the, like,
more
give me the
log
wand
pose stuff.
My wand law.
Pose law.
Pose law. Pose law is a crazy thing to say, dude. Don't we? Log pose law.
Log pose law.
I think we might be.
The log pose lawyers?
No, I think we might be engaging in a bit of pose law occasionally with one another, Jackie.
All right, number 3 for me. This is really a nitpick here. I think that Nami, who's the navigator, says that that the little garden is uncharted and seemingly untouched for however long, forever, whatever. That's before they know that all these Baroque agents are there. And it's before we meet the giants. It's like we think we're in a true lost world that no one has seen, blah, 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 blah. However, when Sanji and Zoro take down the dinosaur, Sanji immediately knows what kind of dinosaur it is. He calls it a T-Rex. So this is common knowledge, apparently, even though we're in this world that's lost to time.
Oh, wow.
I
didn't even think about that. That's so interesting.
He's like, I'm going to make a T-Rex tartar. So did he just, like, on the spot name the T-Rex? And, like, that's where the name comes from? Or does he just know way more than anybody else about dinosaurs? Are there T-Rexes on other places, in the East Blue?
Well, the thing is, dragons and stuff exist in the One Piece world. Like, we haven't met any yet. But they, like, exist as, like, actual dragons. I don't know. Far be it for me. Again, I forget stuff a lot.
Maybe it's, like, in a zoo or something. I mean,
yeah. Or just, like, a
knows?
book. But, like, you're right. If Nami, it does sort of contradict itself. Uncharted, unknown, we don't know anything about it. Oh, look at this animal that I definitely know about.
Yeah, and they didn't do a similar thing for the Brontosaurus type things. Those to me looked like maybe they were some kind of a sauropod, which is just a broad way to describe them, but they looked a lot bigger than the equivalent dinosaurs. Like, they were massive when Vivi and Luffy were on top of the head. It's like that was a whole bull riding size. So that was it. That was my number 3. Is just that Sanji knows what a T-Rex is, and they just kind of move past it. And I don't know if he was supposed to know what a T-Rex is.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't think about that while I was watching it. That is a good catch.
What's number 2?
Number 2, Jackie. Usopp, wipe Luffy's face off. He has weird blue paint on there.
This is a great point, Tyler. This is something I wrote down that didn't make my list, but yeah. I mean,
he's looking straight at him.
And honestly,
like,
this kind of goes into my number 2, which is Science Corner. Because part of my Science Corner, I have a number of things written down, but specifically about your number 2, with regard to the paint. Vivi says at the beginning of episode 5, when the 3 of them are in the wax cottage, and Vivi just kind of takes her foot and smears the paint on Nami's thigh. Nami immediately snaps out of it. But Vivi also says right before she does that the paint acts upon absorbing into the skin. So if the paint acted upon absorbing into the skin, why would just wiping it completely counteract it?
So I think it also has to do with the symbols. If comments, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like full on. It has to be the full circle with the dot in it, like the circle swoop dot. And I don't think that was very well explained. I think they took that way to do it because Golden Week does not have a devil fruit. This is not like a power. It is something different. It could be magic, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who think there's another character that never shows his face. He would have been last season. His name's Django, and he hypnotizes people, but he doesn't have a devil fruit either. And it's postulated that people can get powers in One Piece by eating mushrooms. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. The point is that Golden Week doesn't have a devil fruit, and I think in service of like trying to explain how this works, without being like, no, she doesn't have a devil fruit. Let me directly explain that it was like a single line, but it's the full like circle symbol thing. She needs to draw the thing on her.
Yeah, I just think that, Vivi was so confident in her explanation. Maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. But yeah, she just like smears it with her shoe, and Nami's like, "Oh, I'm good now."
Oh,
So-
and I have another thing. It's like Golden Week. It's like, why would you have him go into the water? Is the other thing when Luffy has the black mark on his face? She's. Won't it just? You literally just painted it on his face. If you splash some water on there, it's just gonna come off.
Well, maybe she used the same paint that they used on Laboon, because you wouldn't want that to wash off. So maybe just because this is such a nautical world that all the paint, is just meant to.
All paint is waterproof.
The all paint. Maybe that's what
All
she's looking
paint.
for.
That's what she's looking for.
Everybody's looking for something. All right, so that brings me to more of Science Corner.
Science Corner.
So one of the things, I need a lesson on the earwax dissolve rate and how they perfectly timed that. Like, how long was the earwax sitting in the ale, and how were they so sure that it was, that it just wasn't going to combust the ale? I get something I don't even have written down, but something I'd love an explanation on is, when he uses his pistol, like how is that inert until he pulls the trigger? Is it the friction of the air that causes this stuff to, act? The carbonation of the ale? Why didn't he put earwax in both ales to, take down both of the giants? Was it just they only had access to one and they didn't want to go into the cave? Vivi, yeah, we talked about the pain absorbing. Golden Week also appeared to be able to kind of just control Luffy through words in addition to the paint, which I didn't understand because she was like, she painted him green, and then she was like, but don't you like the tea? And he was kind of fighting it, but he said, yes, I like the tea. And then when she had the black on him, she was like, now go into the sea, say this, say that. So is that part of it? Is that only part of one color? When Nami had the green, she just was like, I don't care about anything. So when Luffy had the green, it looked like he did care about a lot of stuff. So, exactly how is Luffy counteracting the paint? And then
Luffy has a strong will, Jackie. That's what I'm gonna say.
And then how did the booger bomb light the candles but not explode them was a mystery to me. He kind of threw it up there and then it exploded perfectly over the top.
Because he's really good at. Because he's so good at using his devil fruit.
But how does he remote detonate his boogers? And
he never said he couldn't. Never said he couldn't.
He never said he couldn't. But I just think his powers are some of the most confounding on how. And then I guess if we're going,
you haven't even gotten to some of the craziest. Oh my God! You think his powers are weird?
I mean, everyone's powers are weird, and I understand this is based on an animated thing. But when you put it in live action, it just makes me think like, what are the mechanics of this, and like, just why does it work this way here? Why does it work that way there? Another thing that I'll just say here, it's not. Well, I guess you could say it's in Science Corner, but with Valentine, it's like, why doesn't she use her? It just seems like she could use her powers better. I don't know. During that fight with Nami and Vivi, I just feel like she could have, done a little better.
Yeah.
Just been heavier
Well,
overall.
It's
for
funny.
most of it.
I think in the anime and manga they make it more clear that like sometimes people who get devil fruits don't like train or work hard after that. They think
Yeah,
that once
I could
they-
absolutely see that with
it's
Valentine.
there's this thing where
They're a little
eventually
overconfident.
people get to a point where it's like I don't want to be like devil fruits don't matter anymore, but there is a point in which in the story it's like you would have need to have mastered your devil fruit power and some other stuff if you're going to compete with the people that we have further down the line.
Yeah.
And I think that this is it's hard because in the anime they have so much more time, but
Oh, and then
it's one of those things that I think
just
it's
one
like-
last thing on Science
Yeah.
Corner before we move on, because I don't have this written down. When everybody gets coated in wax, you got Vivi, Zoro, and Nami coated in the wax, and Usopp and Luffy arrive on the scene, and there's some throwaway about they'll only have enough air for like a
Few
couple
minutes.
minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But Dory in the cave, he's coated for like how much time? Like it could be an
Long
hour,
time.
like a long
Yeah.
time. So I don't understand why he's fine. Like he's able to survive that, no problem.
Yeah. Well, that stuff sort of happens differently in the anime too, but I think they did it. They also like switched which giant gets belly busted with the earwax thing.
Oh, really?
It's like they flipped a bunch of stuff, and if I recall correctly, Mr. 3 waxes from like the battlefield, and like it's like tricky. It's like they're all together, and he does it like from behind something. It's like it's another thing where it's showing like the honor of the giants in fighting versus Mr. 3 being sort of like underhanded most of the
conniving,
time.
underhanded.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, what's your number one?
My number one, and it solidified it even more when you started talking about Luffy, how he has no sense of danger. Your understanding of Luffy is that he has no sense of danger. And that is not... I mean, in the live action, yeah, it does really seem like the case. In the anime, that sequence where Mr. 3 runs away from him, and he has a bunch of the wax copies of himself. Not only does he explain that he doesn't just make wax carbon copies and they can be colored or whatever, he also explains that his wax copies do much better when Golden Week paints them, which is why they're... So it's like, there's like a thing going on. So they're all painted to look like him, blah, blah, blah. There's a point where there's a bunch of them in front of Luffy, and 3's taunting him. He's like, you don't know who it is. It could be it, blah, 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 blah. You can't. And he does this. He like closes his eyes and he just aims, hits, picks him out. Immediately knows who it is. It's not like it's his battle sense. Or
So it's like the opposite of what happened.
The
here.
opposite of what happens. And it infuriates me because this is like part of... There's a lot of things... And Nami says something along... It's like, he's got this something. I can't put my finger on it, but he's got a lot of it. And it's like, he's got a lot of different things, actually. And it's like, one of the things he has is he has this weird sense of what's good and what's bad. He's like...
Yeah, he's got like a goodness detector, which
Yeah,
he's shown with regard to Vivi and Igaram.
And I just don't want to spoil too much for you. They talk about how he's like good with animals. They talk about how in the live act, but there's an explanation for all of that later on, and I don't want to give it away, but it's like he has an innate ability within him that they foreshadowed Dragon doing crazy stuff in this, and they don't give us like, I'm just gonna say it's the voice of all things is a phrase that is used later on, and it sort of describes an ability that Luffy has, and that's sort of what I attribute him to being able to figure out where 3 is. It's not just that he like can sense danger or whatever. It's like he hears things. He hears people's voices or animals' voices or their feelings or their will. He like can innately sort of sense it, and the fact that they don't even they literally have him hit the wrong one 17 times or something.
Yeah.
Furious. He's supposed
he
to be
basically hits
good.
everyone except for the right one.
He's supposed to be good at this. That's one thing he's supposed to be good at. And Inaki does such a good job of being Luffy otherwise. I think they should let him have the other piece, which is like...
My guess is that they just have his arc more or less kind of planned out across the season, so they want him at this point to be, just charging in the battle without that layer, which will come later.
Yeah, but it just makes me so mad.
My number one is... Since I put a couple of other things in this umbrella, I have it as the Baroque works incompetence, but it is mainly focused on the last thing that I'm going to talk about. We already talked about 3's Dr. Evilness.
Yeah.
It's in this demerit category, but I enjoyed it. The other thing that I have here, though, about 3 is he has this hidden phone that you can only access with a button, but it's so loud that why even hide it? Like, why hide the phone in this secret chamber when from, basically you're on your way out the door and you can hear this phone call coming in? It just, that didn't make a ton of sense to me. It's like, you don't have to be a great secret agent to realize that, this hidden phone, I wonder how you get it. Oh, maybe it's this button right here.
Oh, the big
there
button.
It is.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the real reason for this being my number one is the Unluckies. The Unluckies were built up in the previous episode where they're like, and I can't remember, I think they said this to 9, 5, and Valentine when they had 9, when we're about to get him. They were like, Zero's going to send out the Unluckies and whatever. So before you know that the Unluckies are a vulture named Miss Friday and an otter named Mr. 13, you have no idea, but it sounds like, these sound like some real tough, agents that could possibly put up some serious numbers and a heavy body count. And they come into this episode. I mean, he's got a Gatling gun, Mr. 13 does on top while he's riding down. So that's a cool shot. You got that, and Sanji kind of runs back in. But then almost immediately, Sanji breaks the neck of Miss Friday. Miss Friday doesn't do anything. And then 13, gets in some blows, surprisingly strong, gets, tosses Sanji around. But at the end of the day, they don't do anything. They don't achieve anything. They get built up, and then they're just gone.
This is another thing. I probably should have mentioned it in Whiskey Peak. They appear in the Whiskey Peak arc. When Baroque Works agents fail, you do see them sweep up the mess.
Yeah, we needed to see them actually do something.
And it's funny because they the other Baroque Works agents are truly afraid of them. It is not
and that's the thing is I got that from the last episodes, and the reveal is funny, but I feel like you needed one of those scenes where you just see the Unluckies. The Unluckies are there, but you don't see them, but you see the devastation. We needed one of those. You still could have done the reveal, but shown what they can do. The only hint of them being, we got the thing in the last episode, and then when Zero was talking on the phone to Sanji, he said something about the unfortunate situation at the orphanage. Was that in reference to something from the anime? But
Oh,
I assume what that meant is that they
I
like
don't
killed a bunch
remember.
of children or whatever. So like that's all we have, and then we just see Sanji take them out single handed. With Friday like really just nothing happened
Yeah.
there, and then again 13 had a little bit more, and we'll get into that, but basically,
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
this is a pretty consistent thing in this show. They have to, not that they have to, but they need to. They have a desire to bring in these different elements and characters from the anime, but they can only allot so much screen time. So a
Yeah.
lot of these characters come in and then leave before really getting to do anything. And I felt that with the Unluckies. I think it was just funny how. Yeah,
Yeah.
they talked about
They were
them as this big
dispatched so
force,
quickly.
and then they were gone. And I mean, they're especially with Friday. It's like Friday is dead, like the neck is
Yeah.
broken. And with 13, it's like he just kind of kicks him hard into the wall or something. And
Yeah.
I guess he's dead, but I don't know. So that's it. That's my
Yeah.
number one. So
Well,
let's get
then that
into
means
talking
we're
about the fights.
fighting.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into the fights, the only honorable mention that I want to go through here. At the very end of episode 5, one of the things that we don't talk about a lot, Tyler, in these episodes and in this series is there's some nice scoring. We've talked about it a little bit where some of the characters get their own theme song and whatever.
Yeah.
Then, all of a sudden, at the end of episode 5, about the time that we get the reunion with Brogy and Dory, we have this song that comes on, and it's one of the only songs that they've had, one of the only pieces of score that has English words in it. And it's like, pray to the sun, pray to the sun, pray, oh,
Yeah,
pray.
And that bothered me a lot, to be honest with
I was
you.
like, what are we doing? And it's
Wow.
only there for like 15 seconds or so, and then it comes back in the credits. And it's like they say something about like the sun god or whatever in the middle, and it's like that's fine, but all the
It's
same,
it's
a weird
literally,
place to inject.
it's
that
for
kind of
people
thing.
like me, and I don't like it. It's the thing is, the giants do pray to a sun god.
Yeah.
You find that out, and
Yeah.
they say the name of him. They say Nika,
Yeah.
but it's like
You know how you make that so much cooler is you just don't put it in English. You can have that exact same voice part, but just have them sing like some made up language like Star Wars type vocals,
Yeah.
and then
No,
it's
I agree.
fine. But like it just to me, it's like the thing that I was expecting is like, make sure you buy the new hot single "Pray to the Sun," available on all of your music.
Yeah, scan this QR code and you'll
It's
be
just-
sent directly to the iTunes store.
It's just it really stuck out to me that like they just don't do that, and then all of a sudden, pray to the sun, pray to the sun.
I don't wanna. But we might as well get to the fights, Jackie.
Yeah,
We might
let
as
me.
well
I'm
get-
I'm so sorry. Let me just mention one more thing that I should have put
you've
in
got
Science
more?
Corner. I just literally have one more thing that I just glanced at my notes. With Golden Week, like at one point when she was painting the black on Luffy's face, her finger was getting so close to the paint, and I thought to myself, like, when has anybody ever painted and not gotten paint on their hands? And it's like, how does she not accidentally get painted all the time?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's just a big accident, maybe.
She could they could have just put gloves on her, and then I'm not asking these questions. But like, man, it's
Gloves
like
would be weird.
clean hands on a paint artist is something you don't see every day. All right, let's get to the fights, Tyler. What's your number 5 fight?
I actually have a 6 because I don't even want to talk about it that much.
Okay.
Because it doesn't even count as a fight. Luffy
good.
and Mr. 3 shouldn't even count as a fight.
You don't even have it on the list.
Don't even have it on the list, but he swung something and he got hit, so I'm gonna say that it was a fight. But we don't even have the.
I have it as my number 4. So what do you have at 5 then?
At 5, I have Zoro versus Mr. Five with the Usopp support. I have like every
So you have them all
fight
broken
sort
out
of
like that.
broken
Okay.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I thought that one was boring because Zoro's standing the whole time, and essentially
he's
the only
stuck in
thing
wax.
exciting that happens is that Usopp shoots Five's gun, misses,
Yeah.
and then lights the swords on fire at the end for the final blow. It
Yeah.
was boring.
In
It
a
was fine,
world
and
where
it's
we
cool.
have these Gatling guns on top of vultures, it's kind of nuts that Five just has this little single shot Revolutionary
like a
War style
revolver.
pistol. Oh yeah, it does have the revolver chamber at least, so he could put some more shots. But it seemed like he was loading it again. Like he took one shot and then he's loading it.
And he's like,
It's like, why do you even have a revolver if you're just gonna load it between shots? So yeah, he takes two shots. One of them is deflected. One of them, Usopp, gives him the finger and moves the gun out of the way. And then, you gotta, it's not too bad. But yeah, there's not a lot of fight going on just because, like you said, Zoro is kind of, I guess
stationary.
The implication is that if Zoro was free, then he would just take care of business. So
yeah, it's just keeping the best fighter on the team.
it's also if Zoro was free, there would be no reason for Usopp to come in and help out, because that's again one of the big things is this is a lot of stuff for Usopp, so he is able to actually lend a hand in a fight. And yeah, it's kind of embarrassing for Five. And I did again, not to take us back to Science Corner, but the whole Special Fire Star. What is that thing called?
Oh, I forget what he calls it. Yeah,
I had it written down somewhere, but
that he eats and I think it's funny, but that's what happens.
That's the Tabasco one, right? But then he has the one that Zoro hits with his sword that causes his swords to catch on fire, but it also frees him. Like then he's out of the wax. Like I don't know how that worked, where it simultaneously lights all the swords on fire, but he can still hold them fine. But then also his foot comes loose and he's able to like slice the guy in half. I assume Five's dead. Like you don't come back from fire sword slashing.
No,
that's what I always say, at least.
The hash slinging slasher.
All right, so you had that little subsection of that fight at number 5.
Yeah.
My number 5 is the Sanji and Zoro versus T-Rex. It lasted about 5 seconds.
No, I
talked about it a lot. Well, that's because all my fights are more like condensed, not broken up the way that you did it. But I have just a couple of notes. Zoro, when they first go off, is wearing this striped boonie hat that I appreciated. I don't think I mentioned that yet.
He normally doesn't wear hats, so it's kind of nice to see him in one.
It's like protection from the sun. Good on you. We had the baking, cooking completely different. Zoro slicing pomegranates thereafter. That's a little battle unto itself. I think that is kind of fun. Oh, and then he mentions the boning knife. That was a nice little laugh moment. Yep. So that's it. Sanji and Zoro versus T-Rex. We hardly knew you, T-Rex. You were on
were
screen
there
for about 8
few
seconds.
Yeah.
What's your number 4?
Number 4 is Usopp and Valentine. I think it really shows off. Again, he doesn't really fight, but Usopp is clever. He's like, oh, if I can get her mad and I can get her to put a lot of weight down and bash my head into the wax, maybe I can get it cracked. I don't know
if he went in with the idea of like it's gonna take her jamming my head into this. I think what he was trying to do was get her to like just stomp down on it, but
I think so too.
But when she had him dead to rights, that was kind of like the only thing that could happen, I guess. But like he should have at least tried to like just maneuver his head.
No, don't
to
try
side.
to move. Don't get out
because
of the way.
as she was listing up, and I gained a new appreciation for her talent. Not only does she have, perfect command of the metric system, but she can dial it up where she knows exactly when she's given 20, 50, 100. And I wonder if she just, intuitively knows that, or if she goes in and, into training and is like she, punches
this is how much
some kind of, and then she guesses, and then she looks at the at the diagram, which I assume would be like some kind of a snail scale, that would tell
Of course, snail scale.
Snail scale. So yeah, what else you got on that?
That's pretty much it. I mean, the fights in this are just so short. I just pretty much ranked them in which I thought had the
Short
best
bursts.
choreography.
Yeah, I do like that he figured out the solution to this thing.
Yeah.
And it to me, it seems like he kind of figured it out in real time because, like, when he challenges her to a duel, I'm not 100% sure that he
No,
actually
it's
knows
because
what he's doing. Like, because when she stomps down, the wax starts cracking. So I don't know if he had
Yeah.
a hypothesis that that's what was going to happen, or like once that happened, he's like, oh, this is the idea.
The badass part about it for me mostly is after he gets hit the first time and then definitely realizes what's going to happen. He's like, hit me again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Well, he's really buying into the whole brogy,
Yeah.
if you die in service of your friends or whatever, it's an honorable death. So, yeah. I mean, he gets real beat up. The 100 kilo to the head is a tough
Yeah.
one. And tough for Valentine. I mean, again, the whole Baroque
Embarrassing.
Works cell phones at play here. That's a
She
tough
didn't
one.
even mean to.
She just didn't have to do any of that. Like, he's just running away. Like,
Just
like,
ran
what
in
is he going to
circles.
do? Like, what, really, what is he going to do?
I thought it was funny when she was like, "Are you gonna help?" And then Mr. Five was like, "It's not much of a duel, then, is it?"
Five, I will miss Five because a lot of his little throwaways in this were very funny. He just like could not be bothered to do, whatever Mr. Three is doing. Like he just does, could not care less. It's like,
Yeah, he
why,
does
why
not- he's like,
can we
"What
just
are we
do our
doing?"
job?
Mr. Three's like, "You don't understand art.
Yeah. My
You don't
number
understand
4.
me or my art, Dad."
That's exactly. He said that a lot throughout the years.
Yeah, that's Mr. Three.
My number 4 was the Luffy versus 3. So, yeah, you got the Woods, the Wax Doubles. 3, he's got all those dossiers, so he's studied Luffy, and that's where he developed this strategy from, apparently. Thinks he's a bruiser. Luffy uses his gum stamp Gatling and misses every single one.
Every single one.
Then he gets stabbed, and this is the best part of the fight, when 3 runs away, and if you watch him running away, it's like the funniest run I've ever seen.
He's
he
like...
he runs away like so slow, and
Yeah, it's like not even...
and I just wondered, like, how is Luffy not, getting this guy as he retreats?
The other thing is Luffy's like very fast in the he's in the anime. He's like real quick. It's not like
Like he could have, maybe put up some wax barriers as he ran, because just running away isn't going to cut it. He gets to the cave. Luffy gets blocked by that wax shield, and then he gets locked in a in a thankfully hammer-shaped wax that he didn't attach to the floor or the wall or anything. He could have just
made it real heavy.
He just made it real heavy, and basically gives Luffy useful hammer hands that end up not only allowing him to kind of bash through any wax that he puts up, because, the wax defeats wax, as we found out. But then apparently Luffy also is able to free Dory, I assume with shards of the wax that he still had, because they didn't really explain that either. That's something that could have made its
it's
way
an
into
off
Science Quarter.
screen. They should have just
It's like, I freed him too. It's like, how? We've already seen how difficult it is to do this, but I assume he could have just taken the wax shards and, made work out of that. I don't know, but it is what it is. Luffy versus 3. All right, What is your number 3?
My number 3 is Vivian Nami versus Valentine. It's the first time where the wire work comes back out pretty quick. They start flinging the Nami and Vivi are a good team.
Yeah.
You don't think that they would be because they fought each other earlier on, and now they're fighting together. And
Yeah,
they
see,
seem
they
to
were
be
fighting
really
each
in
other,
tandem.
and
Man,
now
it's doing
they.
good.
And I looked it up at one point. I can never remember what you call Vivi's little bracelet, razor things.
I don't know.
But what I liked about that earlier in the episode when she was, burning the hanky for our guy Igaram, she lit the fire with him. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's a nice trick. That's
cool.
a nice little
Yeah.
party trick. I don't really, again,
Little flint and
science
steel.
corner, don't understand what happened there, but I like that it happened.
But it worked.
Yeah, I like them together because you get the staff work, but then Vivi's thing, and this is a real credit to the actor, our Bridgerton friend. When she's doing that live, she doesn't actually have anything.
Yeah, it doesn't have yo-yos. Yeah, they're not spinning around and stuff and coming back.
I was thinking that as well. Anytime that 3 is doing the wax stuff, like as they're shooting that live, he's just like,
yeah, he's just holding his hands there. I think about that in Marvel movies a lot too, like the Doctor
Yeah.
Strange stuff where he's like doing you're just moving your hands around. You
Oh,
probably
yeah.
feel like a goofball.
yeah. But she does a great job. You really feel and the sound design is great on that too, because anytime
Yeah.
she's got those little, bracelet razor things around, like the sound that it makes, that's probably
Yeah.
the thing I would least want. Like Nami hitting me with a staff, I could maybe take, but I don't want those little, razor blades flying
Yeah, they're
around
like
my
little,
face,
like bee blades.
Yeah,
Beyblades.
little, like, buzzing. Ooh, Beyblades. What if she had
Beyblades.
Beyblades?
Let
on
it
her?
rip. Yeah. They do, but she does a really good job. It seems like they actually have weight in her hands, and it's like, I don't know. It's just a
Yeah.
good fight, and they're fun, and the fact that it's 3 ladies duking it out,
Yeah.
all of them strong. It's cool to see.
I still just think, just 3 strong women.
3 strong women. Good
I-
to see.
The only thing about that, which I said before, is just I think Valentine just maybe
Yeah.
it's the overconfidence, but like there had to be a better way to use her powers to do better.
I would think, why don't you just run at somebody and like tackle them and then like lay
Yeah.
on them and be like, "A million kilos. You're dead. I crushed you. I hydraulic pressed you."
Yeah, like maybe she could have been like, doing her little floaty jumps a little bit more to get off the ground. I don't know. But
Yeah.
in any case, it took teamwork to make it happen. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does. What about your 3, Jackie?
My 3
or
was...
did you already did 3?
No, my 3 is Brogy versus Dory. So you got the giant
That's my
battle.
2.
Okay, well, there you go.
We can
So
just
the
both talk about it.
The crew comes together on 2 sides. You got so they each have their own cheering sections.
Yeah, it's like 2 spectating.
Yeah.
Like, it's spectator sport. 2 giants fighting.
And they're like, you're the strongest warrior in Elbap. Hey, no, my guy's the strongest
My
warrior
guy's
in
the
Elbap.
strongest. Gryffindor. No. Slytherin. No. The
And,
Bears. No. The Packers. No.
No. The crew is on each side. And I think they're really... One thing about this is both sides are like really psyched and jubilant about what has been billed as a fight to the death. It doesn't seem like anyone is too concerned. There is the little thing where Vivi's like, Nami, talk some sense into them. And Nami's got the green paint, so she's,
She's totally apathetic.
doesn't care. But yeah, like Luffy and Usopp just like, are like, all right, fight to the death. Let's go.
Yeah,
They're
I
super
think it's
thrilled
so
about
fun.
it.
Because, like, well, it's also within their mentality. It's, well, I mean, Usopp's newfound mentality where it's like, it's part of the honor thing. If you die during this, it's like part of your. And Luffy's always been like, hey, if this is what you want to do, I'm not going
Let's
to
do
get
it.
in your way. Do it. In fact, I'll watch you. I'll cheer you on.
I mean,
Do you
there's a
wanna
world
kill
where
each
instead
other?
of a duel with the giants, they just have a cockfight instead, and like they're equally thrilled about that.
Yeah. More problematic, but equally thrilled.
Oh yeah. So they're going at it. Usopp really looks up to the giants. He's just really enamored the whole time.
This is another thing I think they could have up with. Well,
It's all right. I'll get you. You got.
Yeah.
I'll,
Check the
I'll
time.
cover you on that. Mama doesn't need to hear that.
Is the one that they could have really messed up the fight with the giant, like, but it looks real. They look big. They look heavy, and it could have been like there was no weight to the props, and the swords didn't feel like they were enormous. But no, everything felt grand. Everything felt big, and it was exciting to watch them fight. Not as exciting to watch one of them get run through, but
Yeah. Tough one. So yeah, you also have kind of the aftermath of that sets off these different kind of chases and captures where Valentine kind of takes Nami and sends Usopp on a rock slide down the hill. And then you get, the emotional moment where Usopp is yelling at Dory, being like, "Didn't you hear me? Don't you know what happened? Didn't you see the smoke coming out of this
And
thing?"
he's like, "I don't care. I don't care." It would
And
be
at
just
this
as
point, I mean, this is
dishonorable
at
to
the
stop
end
fighting.
of it's at the end of episode 4. So at this point, if you don't know what's going to happen,
be
you
dead.
think that Brogy's dead, and
Yeah.
and Brogy is by far, I think, would be 9 out of 10 people's favorite giant of the two.
Yeah. I think so too.
It's also, though, this is kind of where Usopp puts on his big boy pants and starts going after Nami is kind of the first thing that he sets out to do as she gets taken by Valentine. You get some nice Five stuff mixed in there, too. I love when Five, he's like, soon my, fancy earwax cannon will dissolve, blah, blah, blah. And he, like, explains it technically, and then, like, very quickly, he's just like,
He's like,
I put earwax in the beer.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I got it. I understand. Yeah, that's
The
one
one
of those
thing
things
about this, yeah, go
that
ahead.
would normally annoy me, but I was like, oh God, it just delivered it so well that I can't be mad.
Yeah.
That's just so funny.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I have to say about this is I would have liked it if some of their, like, whenever they clash, the axe hits the shield or they clash weapons or they land these blows, I think that they could have taken it to an extra degree with, like, sound waves causing trees to
like,
move.
Or having like wind blow in the face of the actors.
Yeah, or like
something.
more shaking at the ground level
Yeah.
as, these giants are doing their thing. Again, I think it's probably just a production scale choice rather than something that they didn't think about at all. So that's it for me on that. That was your number 2, right?
Yep.
And I have a feeling that this is your number 1,
Yeah.
which is
it
my
gonna,
number 2. Sanji versus the Unluckies.
That's my number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
The single frame shot from the desk, I think, is incredible. I think it is a testament to Taz Skylar that he's fighting with nothing, and they, edited in an otter. And I think it's just it is, to me, the most exciting fight that happens the whole time. It's also the sound design. You hear like the skittering, the like, I guess it sounds like pots and pans clanking, but like things clanking in the backgrounds, and there's just chaos. You don't know what's going on past like the bottom half.
You see him like get thrown and like, but you don't ever see 13 actually throw him, but you see him getting thrown.
Yeah,
so it's like your imagination, feeds into what's happening.
You get to see exactly as much as I think I wanted to see, and it gives you exactly as much as I get to imagine. I'm like, they could have been on the ground, like that otter's like, you know what
and
I
he's
mean?
also got those like shell claw things.
Yeah, the shell.
It's like you wouldn't want to get cut with that.
You don't want to get near there.
No.
He's mean. I think the entire sequence is so funny, and the fact that I heard that they almost had it cut, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. What else is great about it is the whole thing is in the context of that hold music. He's putting Zero on hold on the phone, so you got like that music in the background.
Yeah, the phone is just like doing like a weird little dance the whole time too. Oh, the snail phone.
And then when the battle's over, he gets back on the phone. He's like, "Sorry, your pets are dead."
Yeah, I killed your pets.
Yeah, and then we get a little bit more development over who Zero could be. We see him grab a flower, and the flower dies. We
Yeah.
see crocodiles in the lair. So again, if you know
I
what's
wonder
coming,
who it could be.
the way that they name things in this show, I couldn't take 3 guesses at the name of this guy. And then you also get his Mr. Prince alias kind of coming at the tail end of that.
Oh, yeah.
You also get a hint at kind of where we're going with Baroque Works, where Mr. Zero says the Straw Hats will regret taking Princess Vivi on board. So everything is kind of funneling back into Vivi's thing and Alabasta and Baroque Works' relationship with Alabasta. So they're setting up all of that kind of stuff. And then what I love about this as well is Sanji, after he takes care of business, he steps outside, and he has one of his rare smokes in this series. He does it only a couple times.
But he's got to do it,
takes one
Jackie.
here.
He's got to take a smoke.
And then one thing that I love is when they set up a detail where I'm asking, like, why is this that way? And one of those things for me was Miss Friday. To me, it looked like one of those things that St. Bernards wear in the mountains, that has some kind of an ale in it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if they would explain that, and then turns out there's that log pose that points straight to Alabasta in there. So I'm glad that the detail was actually something that mattered and wasn't just something like, why is this that way? Then they don't explain it.
The barrel.
Okay.
So what was your number 1 then?
My number 1, and this is because I combined everything into one. I had the wax cake battle just as its own thing.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, so if you take that as one single kind of
big
thing,
fight.
it's got the most fight in there. So I
normally
think
do matchups. So
yeah, I get it. There's a lot of parallel action happening because this is kind of the climax of these 2 episodes.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
While this is going on, you could almost lump in Luffy's fight with 3 into the same thing because that's kind of where you're into cutting. So I'm just kind of scanning and making sure. I mean, we talked about the whole Usopp's duel proposition. I like that whole setup and the fact that they're so overconfident that
they're like,
decide
of course,
to go with it.
Yeah. What are you, an idiot? Yeah, of course we'll fight you one-on-one.
Another thing, Valentine, he's like, Usopp says to her, why are you called Miss Valentine? You don't seem very sweet. And she's so offended. She's I'm incredibly sweet.
I'm incredibly sweet, yeah. It's a great line.
And then I feel like we honestly have talked just about every piece of this. Oh, one more thing that Zoro says here. 5 says to Zoro, do you know how to fight without swords? And Zoro says back, do you know how to fight without picking your nose? And he's like, ooh, tough one.
And he's literally about to, and he's like, okay.
And then that, what we couldn't name before was the Sure Kill Flame Star.
Sure Kill Flame Star.
But it didn't kill anybody. It just,
Joe Star?
Oh, man. Now we're getting back into the Johnny Joe Stars.
The Johnny Joe Stars.
What if one of the Baroque Works agents said, my actual name is Gyro Zeppeli, and he took out 2 balls. And
2 spinning balls.
And then all of a sudden, Johnny Joestar comes wheeling down the hillside, reaching out and saying, I need to find out the mystery of the spin.
And then I would insist that we play the Jovan's theme or whatever. That's like the...
Followed immediately by pray to the
season.
sun, pray to the sun, pray, oh pray.
Oh, man. Then Guile's theme right after.
All right. Let's get to some awards.
Okay.
Strangers in the Night Award for the best cameo or feature, person that maybe shows up here and not anywhere else, whatever. However you want to go with this. This one is more difficult, I think, than other episodes because no one just pops in for a second and leaves other than somebody, in the beginning.
But I'm not going to put... I'm not putting her. I'm doing it by, actor, I guess, this time. Yeah. And it's David Desmalkian is my number 1 with an honorable mention to Sophia Ann Caruso. I think Mr. 3 knocked it out of the park. And spoilers for you, Jack. Can't wait to see more of him, and I can't wait to see him interact with the character that he interacts most with. And I'm gonna spoil it for you, Jack, because you're gonna love. In the future, he will interact most with Buggy.
Ooh.
Can
I
you
already like
imagine
it.
those? Yeah, like I just think for the future, the characterization of both of these guys is gonna be, if they get to it, which they will, them together is gonna be an insane combination
Yeah.
of people.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, like I said before, just by the casting, you know that this is more of a long term deal with this guy. This particular act is not just going to show up in South Africa for like this one thing and then, leave.
Yeah, not
That would be a
again.
strange move for him. So it makes sense that this is going to be, a bigger role. And also the fact that he ends the episode as the only survivor of the Baroque Works people that we saw. So that makes a lot of sense. Mine, I'm giving to Golden Week, the aforementioned Sophia Ann Caruso. And the reasoning behind that is that I know that we're going to see 3 again, and I'm not so sure we're going to see her again. So this was kind of her stretch to just chop it up, eat up the scenery. And I think what really sold it for me, what really put the final nail in, was her freak out at the end of her time when she had all the colors and, just an unhinged performance in the best way.
So that's why I had to put her on because, like, I have a soft spot for David Desmalkian, however you pronounce his name. I apologize if you ever see this.
We'll learn someday.
Yeah, but, like, his work is so great in all these other things, and to see him do this, and honestly, Mr. 3 is also one of my favorite, like, characters, like, down the line. It's just so... I can't wait to see more of him. But Sophia Ann Caruso, yeah, for sure. Like, acting powerhouse. When you were doing the different paints on your face, you could see it. It's exactly the opposite problem I have with Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah.
I could see every emotion on
and
your
I
face.
loved one thing I don't think we talked about is her story about she's talking to Luffy about, friends come and go, but like toys you can put in a box or something. And then she's like, I put my parents in a box, and for a while they were, making a lot of noise, but then they stopped.
Then they stop, yeah.
It's just like absolutely
Depraved.
Psychotic.
Yeah.
All right. Me and my Shadow Award for the best pair. And I feel like this is one of the easiest ones.
It's Dory and
that we've ever had.
Broggy. That's
absolutely.
This is the only
That's
one
it.
it could be. They're fighting forever, and they'll keep fighting because they're 2 giants, and they have honor.
Yeah, and I do like how, they don't learn any lessons, and
Yeah, why would they?
they're fighting for an entire third of their lifespan. So that's the equivalent of like basically 30 of our years, an actual 100 years that they're fighting. And then they're like, let's let bygones be bygones. The gods have spoken. They, both slam the ocean and send that, dagger wave, whatever, splitting the giant goldfish, blowing a hole in it. And I think they break their weapons in the process.
They do. Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't as clear with the sword, but it was very clear that the axe didn't have a head anymore. And then they're like, oh, I remember what we were fighting about. And this goes back to what you were talking about, the whole parallel with Sanji Zoro that's more clear in the anime. Yeah. And then that was one of the points. They did that thing I like again where they did the kind of comic book framing where at various points they did that a lot with the Giants where they had like him in one frame, him in the other frame.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I have as well. They win the award clearly, Dory and Broggy. Hope we, see them again and hear from them down the line, even if it's just like one of the final episodes and you're seeing all your friends again, for some reason.
Oh, Jackie, we might see him again.
All right.
Who knows?
Chairman of the board, who won the episodes?
I think it's hard not, even though I had some qualms about how much screen time he had. I think it's hard not to pick anybody but our pal Usopp. He is the main character of these episodes, and oh gosh, what's his Mr. Gibson? Oh no, his
Jacob
first name is
Gibson.
Jacob. Jacob Gibson. Really, he is doing. It's funny. I was watching some of these episodes with my wife, and she commented on this. He's very theatrical when he's acting, and not in a good way. And I think that it really lends itself to the character because he's got that like that half smile that he does. That's like, oh, it's, I guess it's a full smile, but with like the upturned cheek. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
I know exactly
Things
what you're
that
talking about.
I feel like generally modern acting or actors in film would kind of avoid doing in fear of being like kitschy, but it looks good and it fits the character, and especially for the lessons he's learning throughout these episodes, he
Yeah.
is truly kicking butt.
Yeah, he's got to be the choice here. He is the main person. He goes through the arc of being scared and learning that fear is, not something that diminishes who you are and your capabilities, and that it's actually important. You need fear to have bravery, and he has the most emotional moments with, Brogy apparently dying, kind of getting another chance, and then getting that final kind of push to do what he needs to do, and being very important in saving his friends. So yes, it has to be Usopp.
Has
And
to
one
be.
more thing that I thought of, by the way, that
Oh,
I
plus
didn't
the
get
nip
to
slip.
mention.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
forget to
yeah,
mention the
little
nip slip. Yeah, I got that's the other reason.
Something I just thought about is that Sanji probably could have actually. We probably could have avoided a lot of this stuff if Sanji had just taken Zoro's weird behavior and like done the minimum level of investigation.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
he was cutting the pomegranates and like laughing to himself, and Sanji's just like, whatever. He just leaves him.
This is what
He didn't
this
care
must
at
be
all.
what he does when he's alone. He
Yeah,
just like walks away.
exactly. He just like goes about his business. But anyway,
That's how I
Usopp
feel about Back to the
wins.
Future 2. The entire movie can be avoided if they just use the time machine one more time. Like, I don't know. The plot moves on because they take Marty and his girlfriend to the future, and then she's found by a police officer because they leave her in an alley because she gets like over. Yeah, she passes out because she's like, "This is the future. Oh my god!" And she passes out, and they leave her in an alley, and then a cop finds her and takes her back to her actual house, and she's married to Marty McFly in the future. And then it's like, you could have just gone back 10 minutes in time again in your same, like, in the same time machine you just used, put a note for yourselves on your other time machine, and been like, the cops came, we had to go back in time.
Oh, and by
to
the
make
way, pray to the sun, pray to the sun, pray, oh pray. All right. Well,
I
where
need
are you
to
at
learn the
rating
mystery
wise?
of the spin.
Are you still at a 4, Tyler? We're kind of both
I am
hovering
still
around
at a 4, but I do have to say, if anything would have dropped me to a 3, these would be the episodes.
Okay, so for you, this is kind of the low point,
The low point, yeah.
but it's still, it
It's still
doesn't dip
good.
too low.
No, it doesn't dip low.
And it has some of my favorite moments,
Yeah.
So I think we're eating well on this selection of these episodes, and we still got 3 to go. We're gonna hit all 3 of them next week when we talk about Drum Island and the conclusion of the live-action One Piece season 2. So we're gonna wrap it up, and then Tyler, we got to decide what we're gonna do after that. There's a lot of people out there hankering for us to get into the actual anime conversation.
We're not going to do that. Could you imagine?
We might.
We could.
We just
We'd
have to
figure
decide
out
how
how
to
to
segment
split
it
it up.
out,
Yeah.
It might not be a week to week. It might be more of a check-in,
Yeah, like every month.
couple weeks or such. We do want to get to some other stuff, but, if you want us to do more One Piece stuff with the anime and you're really jazzed about that, the best way to let us know is, leaving a comment, telling us what you like, telling us what you don't like. We're gonna ignore the ones
telling me that
you don't like. You know,
that you like me more than my brother Jackie. Those are the ones that
Yeah.
I like the most.
he'll enjoy that a lot. I won't enjoy it as much. So tell me that you like me better, and then that will probably get you. You know, I'll read that comment live on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe. And then if you say I like Tyler the best, maybe you should check out that anime, the One Piece anime. Check it out. Maybe we'll do it.
You watching anything else, Tyler? Any quick recommendations?
Honestly, the only thing I've been watching with regularity, and by regularity I mean like the moment that the episodes come out, I'm on it. Well, I guess there's two things. The new season of Scrubs, the reboot with, it's actually on ABC, but I think you can watch it on Hulu the day after or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
maybe Disney Plus as well.
I'm obsessed with this internet cartoon, independent, I guess it's 3D, but it's called, it's by Glitch Studios. The artist is called Gooseworks, and it's called The Amazing Digital Circus. I said too many G words all in a row.
I feel like I
and
saw
said
it available on Netflix. I don't know how
it
much
is.
of it
It is on
in what
Netflix. I
form.
think that it's a weird. I think it's going to end up being on Amazon Prime too. But all of the episodes are also available on YouTube for free. So if you don't have any streaming services, check them out. They're like 30 to 40 minutes per episode, but it looks like a kids show, folks, and it sort of seems like one, but it is not. It is not. It is it's taking on a lot of like sort of heady AI questions if you were to, ask yourself. It talks about a lot of different things. You could say simulation theory is part of like the theming, all of these. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into it because I could talk about it for hours, but it's really good, and it's going to be a limited series. There's only going to be a single season, and it will end, and it's almost done. So you should get on it now. There's 8 episodes out already, and there's only going to be 9. So it's really cool. It's a good show.
All right, so that was The Amazing Digital Circus. I'll just throw... I've been watching a lot of HBO shows. I don't need to really, say too much about it, but, if you're watching The Pit, if you're watching DTF St. Louis, if you're watching Rooster, I'm always down to have a conversation about those. So comment if if you like those shows or you're watching them at least. They're all very different, but, I'm a big HBO guy. But the one that I want to point out, and something that I haven't finished yet, but I'm enjoying, is it's the #1 show on Netflix right now, and it's called Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen. Really interesting horror, show. It's got some interesting cast. Some people that I recognize, but most of them I don't. And there's this one guy in it that plays kind of this pivotal role in kind of the reveal of the mechanics of what's happening. That's just popping up all over the place. He was in Wonder Man. He was actually in the Superman movie. I'm just seeing him all over. This older gentleman. I don't want to reveal too much, but yeah, give it a watch. That is Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen on Netflix. And again, it's super popular. I think it's the #1 show right now. Maybe Love on the Spectrum has overtaken it by now, which is another thing that I just watched. So I think that's it for us.
If you want to feel good, honestly, Love on the Spectrum is a crazy.
It's always a good time.
Yeah. It's like,
if you haven't started it, I highly recommend just start from the beginning. You follow a lot of these people throughout the years at this point, and you'll make some new friends in that for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for listening to the Brothers Sinatra podcast. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra.
And we're the Brothers Sinatra. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.